Beloved, stop whatever you are doing and listen with your whole heart. You are not here by accident. Do not rush past this. Do not assume you can come back later and find it the same. Breathe. Place your hand on your heart if you can. Let the noise fall to the edges of the room, and let this sentence stand in the center. This moment is not random. Out of all the seconds on the clock, out of all the voices you could have heard today, this is the one arranged for you. Heaven has leaned low over your life, not to accuse you or exhaust you, but to meet you in the place that has felt like a long hallway with too many closed doors. Hear the hook clearly, because it will reframe everything that follows. What looked like rejection was divine protection. The door that would not yield was not your failure, not your punishment, not proof that you were late or less than. It was mercy posted like a guard until the appointed hour. Let that settle. Let it interrupt the narratives that have circled your mind for months. What resisted you then was saving you for now. What felt like a wall was a womb. What felt like a no was holding space for a better yes you would not have recognized without this exact sequence of time. I am not here to stir fear in you. This word does not come with panic or pressure. It comes with awakening, with the gentle but unmistakable tap on your shoulder saying, "Look here, listen now, I have timed something for you." Not a moment before you were ready to carry it, and not a moment after your hope would have faded beyond reach. The Father wastes no waiting. The one who knows how seas part at midnight, how walls fall on the seventh circle, how manna arrives in the morning, how a stone rolls when the dawn breaks. In the same way, he knows how to align your second, your season, your step. You have wondered if the silence meant absence. You have wondered if the door that did not move at your knocking meant you misheard, misstepped, misunderstood. Pause those questions. In this exact second, receive a different imagination. Imagine a key in a hand you cannot see, a hinge beginning to turn before you hear it, the air in the hallway shifting from stale to fresh. Imagine that heaven has issued an authorization stamp you could not force and you could not counterfeit. The timing is not a guess. It is an appointment. The opening before you will be clear, but before you move, you must listen, because how you hear will determine how you walk. So, draw close. Lean your ear toward the whisper that carried you through the nights you thought you could not carry yourself. This is your invitation to focus, not on the noise of comparison, not on the ache of yesterday, not on the swirl of outcomes you cannot control, but on the one who authored your days before any door ever stood in your path. He is not late to you. He is not indifferent to you. He is present to you, and the evidence is this. Right now, peace begins to move where anxiety is camped. Clarity begins to gather where confusion scattered your thoughts, and a simple yes begins to rise where your no had grown tired. If this word witnesses with your spirit, mark your agreement not as a transaction but as an altar. Like this video as your quiet yes. Share it to place a key in a waiting hand that is trembling just beyond your line of sight. Subscribe so you don't miss the next word, time to strengthen your next step. And in the comments, let a sentence become your prayer. Lord, align me to your appointed door. Leave your prayer requests as well, and let the family of faith surround you. You were never meant to stand in a hallway alone. Do not turn away. Do not hurry to fix or figure out what listening is meant to heal. Let these words wash the dust from your feet. Let your shoulders lower as you stop bracing for the blow that is not coming. Lift your eyes. This is a divine appointment written with your name, matched to your hour, delivered in the language your heart can hear. You are safe to listen. You are safe to hope again. The door that once would not move is under a new order. And before we speak of crossing thresholds and carrying what matters through, let this be the first movement. Stillness, attention, surrender to timing. I will say it once more so it anchors you for the journey of the next moments. The door that was locked was protection, not rejection. And the one who protected you has now called you to attention because the appointed hour is drawing near. Stay, listen, receive. Let your spirit agree with the timing that has come to meet you, and watch what happens when a heart in alignment meets a door in authorization. My child, listen to me with the same stillness that just settled over you, because I am going to speak to the hallway where you have stood longer than you told anyone. I saw you there. I know the nights when you wiped away tears so no one would notice, when you folded your grief into the corner of a pillow and turned your face to the wall so that the room could not read your ache. I know the mornings when you stood while your knees shook, when you smiled at the world even as your chest clenched from the weight of another day that looked like the last, and you told yourself to be strong because you thought strength meant silence. I was in those rooms. I was in those mornings. I was the quiet steadying of your breath when fear tried to take it from you. I heard the prayers you whispered into your pillow, the ones that never made it past your lips but hammered in your heart like a soft fist asking to be let out. I heard the questions you buried under a practiced smile, questions about timing, about worth, about whether my eye was still on you. I heard the way you rehearsed answers for people who would ask how you were, and how you decided to say you were fine because the real story felt too heavy to hand to anyone. My beloved, I did not need you to speak them for me to know them. I have collected every syllable of every wordless prayer you have ever tried to say. I have traced the outline of your hope on the inside of your chest as clearly as I trace constellations across the night sky. You asked me in the dark, was I rejected? Did I miss it? Did I mishear you? Did I fall behind? Did I disqualify myself? And I am answering you now. I have seen every single moment. I watched each attempt. I counted your steps in the hallway. I saw when you put your hand on a handle that did not turn, and instead of leaving, you chose to wait in faith you could not fully feel. I have not abandoned you. I did not turn my face away. I was guarding you more fiercely than you knew, and while you called it delay, I called it shelter. I know the evening you sat in your car an extra 10 minutes so no one would see your eyes and you could catch the pieces of yourself before you walked in. I know the afternoon you went quiet in a crowded room because the room did not have language for what you were carrying. I know the moment the hallway felt like humiliation, when envy tried to convince you that you had been overlooked and would always be behind. My child, I stood with you then when you felt least accompanied. I was nearest, and every time bitterness knocked, every time cynicism whispered, I strengthened your hand to keep the lock on your heart from snapping. Your restraint mattered to me. Your still yes mattered to me. Your waiting spoke a kind of worship few ever understand, but I understood it completely. I have watched you gather yourself every morning like scattered pages of a story you were not sure would be worth reading, and I say to you now, I was writing with you. I was not idle as you waited. I was acquainting you with peace where you had only known striving. I was teaching you the weight of glory over the noise of applause. I was settling your identity in a place no door, no outcome, no opinion could rattle. The hallway did not hollow you out. I used it to hallow you, to make sacred what the hurried pace of answered prayers might have trampled. Do not call yourself foolish for hoping. Do not call yourself weak for crying. Do not call yourself late because others seemed to pass you while you paused. I am your father, and I am telling you the truth about what I saw. I saw courage masquerading as quiet. I saw faith that kept choosing to look up when the ceiling of your room looked lower than ever. I saw the way you honored me when no one was watching, and I have recorded it not to embarrass you but to bless you openly in the hour I have timed. I will not let you leave this moment unchanged. Hear me. I am turning toward your ache with tenderness and with power. I place my hand upon the place that has ached the longest, and I say, peace, be still. I breathe into the place that has known only sighs, and I say, receive strength. I speak to the hidden accusation you have held against yourself. I should have known better. I should have done more. I should have been different, and I cut it from your soul now. You are not a mistake navigating mistakes. You are, my beloved child, learning to walk with me, and I am very patient with those I love. Let your shoulders lower in my presence. You do not have to perform for me. You do not have to explain the hallway to the one who designed the path. Open your hands. Release the last droplets of blame you have been holding against your own heart. I am not speaking to create fear in you. I am speaking to awaken you to the reality that you have not been alone for a single heartbeat of this weight. Even your silence had an echo in my courts. Even your smallest yes had a resonance in heaven. I have held you when you did not feel held. I have steadied you when you thought you were standing by yourself. So, breathe with me now. Let the hallway be named accurately, not exile, but environment, not neglect, but nurture, not absence, but accompaniment. Your unseen waiting has been fully seen, fully heard, and fully held by me. Rest in that knowing for a moment longer than is comfortable, because that rest is the soil where courage grows. Soon I will speak to you about the turning hinge and the way you will walk, but for now, I seal this into your spirit. You are not forgotten, you are not rejected, and you are not late. You are mine, and I have you. My child, listen to me and let this sentence sit in the center of your soul. The door that would not move was my mercy at work, not your rejection. Do not argue with me about it. Let me be the one who defines what that season actually was. Every delay in your life has been a deliberate act of love, not neglect. I do not toy with your hope. I do not dangle goodness in front of you to watch you ache. I am a father, and a father who loves does not open gates that lead his child into harm. I locked what you could not yet carry without losing what matters most, and I guarded you until strength and softness could live in the same room inside you. I did not lock the door to punish you. I locked it to prepare you for the moment it would finally open. Hear it again, not as a theory but as a verdict. I withheld access because I was not willing to withhold wholeness. I knew the pressure on the other side, the pace at which that room runs, the way applause can sound like affirmation while it is actually anesthesia, and I refused to trade your soul for speed. The lock was the pause that let roots grow. The lock was the quiet where you learned my voice without the microphone of outcomes. The lock was the seal that kept premature exposure from scorching what was tender and true inside you. I saw alliances forming around you that wore the clothing of partnership but hid the teeth of predation. They would have kissed your cheek and siphoned your strength, and you would have called it favor while your spirit starved. I would not permit it. I stood between you and rooms that would have required you to shrink to stay. I kept you from altars where the price of admission was your peace. I closed negotiations that would have seemed like breakthrough, but signed your name to burdens I never asked you to carry. When you reached for handles that did not turn, you touched my protection, not your failure. You have wondered if the quiet meant you were passed over while others were chosen. Release that lie now, for it has never carried my voice. You were not less chosen because you waited longer. You were preserved because you are chosen. I do not hide what I intend to discard. I hide what I intend to unveil at the hour it will speak the clearest and bless the most without breaking the vessel that carries it. Precious things are not stored in the open. They are kept in places where time and care can make them ready for display. I called you precious, so I placed a lock where a lesser love would have placed a spotlight. Consider what I kept whole while you stood in that hallway. Your name remained clean when compromise courted you. Your heart remained soft when bitterness offered to numb you. Your discernment sharpened until you could hear the difference between a door opened by noise and a door opened by peace. I guarded friendships from being entangled with users who only knew your utility and not your worth. I guarded your sleep from the insomnia of striving. I guarded your provision from deals that would have paid you today and owned you tomorrow. My child, if you could see the maps I saw and the traps I dismantled while you waited, you would bless the lock. You have asked, why did you not simply make me strong enough then and open the door sooner? Because strength without surrender becomes pride, and open doors magnify whatever rules the heart that walks through them. I was not content to make you capable. I wanted you consecrated. I wanted your love for me to outrun your love for the room. I wanted you to know how to lay a crown down before you ever wore one, to know how to step away when peace says leave, even if applause says stay. These are hallway lessons, and they are heavy enough that only time and trust can carry them into your bones. Release the accusation that the lock meant you were behind. Release the sentence that said you missed your moment. I am the keeper of moments, and I do not misplace the destinies of my children. Forgive the hallway for not moving at your pace. Bless the days that felt empty because they were forming you. Take the old label off the door in your memory, rejected, punished, forgotten, and write what is true, preserved, protected, prepared. Let that reframing do its holy work, because how you remember the lock will shape how you walk through the opening. I know what you did not post. I know the conversations you declined, because something in your spirit felt off, even when you could not articulate why. That off was me, and you honored me when you listened. I know the message you wanted to send, the self-defense you wanted to publish. I kept your name from battles that were not worthy of you. I know the opportunities that glittered while your gut nodded. I tethered you to peace so you would learn that glitter is not glory. I was not restricted by your impatience. I was restraining what would have restricted your purpose. My child, let courage rise gently in you as this truth settles. The lock was love, not sentimental love that spares you from growth, but covenant love that refuses to let you build on sand. I loved you enough to say no when yes would have ruined you. I loved you enough to keep you close when the crowd would have named you louder than my voice. I loved you enough to adjust your timeline to fit the measure of your calling, not the measure of comparison. Do not grieve the time as if it was stolen. It was invested, and the return is integrity, discernment, and a heart that belongs to me. Bring me the shame you attached to the lock and lay it down. Bring me the envy that visited you while others crossed thresholds and let me wash it clean. Bring me the weariness that tells you you are too tired to try again and let me exchange it for quiet courage. You do not have to manufacture closure for a season I have already named complete. You do not have to convince yourself to be grateful. I am rewriting your memory with truth until gratitude flows by itself. And hear me as I turn your face toward the hinge you will soon hear. Nothing has been lost that your appointed hour cannot redeem. The door that would not move has a new instruction written over it, but before it swings, I anchor you in this. You are not a punished child getting a second chance. You are a preserved child, arriving at your first right time. Walk out of the accusation and into the mercy that made a home for you while you waited. Hold this revelation like a lamp in your chest, because when the handle turns, you will need its light to remember why you can step through without fear, because I locked it in love, and I am opening it in love. My child, listen closely, and do not rush past this sentence that I am placing like a key in your hand. You have arrived at a sacred crossing point. The wheels of heaven have turned for you. What you could not have forced with your best effort, and what you could not have faked with your bravest face has been decreed to move now. Not a moment before, and not a moment after. This is the hour where alignment meets assignment. I am not speculating, I am announcing. I am not hinting, I am heralding. I have timed this down to the breath you are taking as you hear me. This is your appointed hour. Hear me tell you why this hour, and not the other ones that tried to wear the name of now. I have matured your heart in ways you did not always recognize, and I have arranged your steps in places you did not always understand. What you called silence was me setting the stage without drawing your attention to the scaffolding. While you saw a closed door and a quiet hallway, I was moving walls behind the scenes, changing the lighting, reassigning roles, and clearing the floor so that when the curtain lifted you would not stumble over yesterday's debris. I was aligning provision with purpose, people with purity of heart, and opportunity with obedience. While you slept, I wrote orders. While you wept, I sealed them. I did not waste the waiting. I used it to stretch your capacity for peace, so that pressure would not crown itself as your master when the room opens. I trained your ears to know my whisper so you would not be seduced by the megaphone of applause. I taught you to measure days by presence instead of production, so that the pace of the open door would not steal the person for whom you are stepping through. I adjusted your reflexes away from hurry and toward holiness, away from proving and toward abiding, away from self-preservation and toward surrendered courage, because what is ahead requires a heart steady enough to hold kindness and a spine strong enough to hold conviction. I also moved the pieces you could not move. I did not ask your permission to remove alliances that would have pulled you off center. I ended conversations you did not know were setting traps. I rerouted you from yeses that would have felt like home but were actually holding pens. I unhooked you from timetables that did not carry my calendar. My beloved, I knew the moment that would serve your healing, your calling, and your joy at the same time, and I have brought you there. I do not deal in almosts. I deal in appointments, and your name is written on this one. So lift your eyes from the memory of the lock and attend to the movement in the present. There is an opening before you, an authorized door that I have unlocked. You will not have to kick this one. You will not have to contort your conscience to fit through it. You will not need to mute my voice to hear its welcome. It bears the mark of my peace and the weight of my word. Feel the atmosphere of the hallway alter. The stale air of delay is giving way to the fresh wind of permission. What resisted you out of love is now releasing you by the same love. Do not confuse my urgency with panic. I am not rushing you. I am readying you. There is a difference between hurry and holy momentum. I am giving you holy momentum. It is the current that comes when the river meets the sea at the right tide, when the hinge aligns with the weight of the door, when your inner yes finally matches the hour I have written. You have been walking a series of small obediences, even when you felt directionless, quiet forgiveness, unseen integrity, secret generosity, moments where you chose peace over winning, and each one has been a thread. Today I am weaving them into a cord you can hold as you step forward. Understand this, because it will steady you. If this opening had arrived before your affections were reordered, you would have mistaken visibility for validation and busyness for blessing. If it had come after your hope had withered too far, you would have stood at the threshold numb, unable to trust your own feet. I have preserved your tenderness, and I have strengthened your will. That is why this door is opening now. I have attuned your discernment so you can tell the difference between the knock of opportunity and the knock of temptation, dressed as opportunity. I have settled your identity in me so you do not need the room to tell you who you are. This is evidence of maturity, and maturity is why the hour is safe. Look back for a breath, not to grieve, but to recognize me in the edit. See the friendships that quietly faded because the season required privacy for your roots. See the appetite I changed, how platforms that once thrilled you now seem small compared to the joy of being with me. See the way anxiety that used to shake you now pauses at the edge of my peace. These are signs of alignment inside you, meeting the assignment I am releasing outside you. Inside and outside are finally speaking the same language, and heaven has acknowledged the agreement. Do not think that the door opens because you finally got everything perfect. The door opens because I finished arranging what my love and wisdom knew was needed for this hour. Your part has been to yield, to listen, to agree with me when I asked for things you would not have chosen to surrender on your own. My part has been to write the orders, to deploy the help you did not see, to hold back storms you did not feel, and to say, when the moment came, now. Child, I am saying it, now. I place my hand upon your shoulder, and with tenderness and authority, I tell you, breathe and receive this. Do not lunge past me, and do not lag behind me. Stand next to me, and feel the floor shift from waiting to walking. I have unlocked what I once locked, and the sound you are hearing in your spirit is the hinge turning under my command. You are not late to this. You are right on time because I am timekeeper. You are not an imposter at this threshold. You are an heir, arriving at an inheritance measured to your maturity. Let not the old narratives rise to steal this moment. When the whisper comes, are you sure? Is this real? Can it really be now? Answer it with what I am declaring. Yes, this is the hour where alignment meets assignment. Yes, the door is authorized and opened by the hand that loves me. Yes, I have been prepared in ways my mind did not fully track, but my spirit now recognizes. Speak this into your own chest, and let your bones hear it, because agreement strengthens courage. This is my appointed hour. The authorized opening is before me now. And as you hold that confession with me, let peace, not pressure, be the proof of my presence. You will not have to strain to keep this door from closing, because I am the one holding it open. You will not have to defend your right to pass through it, because I am your defense. All I ask in this moment is your full attention and your surrendered courage. Stay close. Feel the blessing that stands with you at the threshold. Welcome the calm that comes when the one who opens also walks you through. The hour has arrived, my beloved. The stage is set, the key has turned, and the first line of this new scene is already on your tongue. Yes, Lord, I am ready in your timing. My child, now listen to me as I uncover what my lock was doing while you waited, because I did not simply keep you out. I kept what is in you intact. I placed my hand over your oil, your anointing, your clarity, your peace, so it would not be poured out on altars. I did not authorize or offer to people who wanted your light without your Lord. I guarded the reservoir that keeps your lamp burning when rooms go dark and opinions shift like weather. I would not let cheap needs siphon holy oil. I let small demands pass you by so that what I entrusted to you would not be spent keeping candles lit in places I never asked you to stand. The waiting looked like stillness from the outside, but from my side it was a seal around your supply, a cover that let your oil settle and purify so it would burn clean when it truly mattered. I shielded you from platforms that promised reach but required rupture rooms that would have celebrated your gift while suffocating your calling, stages that asked you to trade a fragment of your integrity for an upgrade in visibility. There were invitations that sounded like destiny but were actually detours in disguise. They would have asked you to become a caricature of yourself to keep applause alive. I saw the clauses hidden under compliments, the soft pressure to shave off your conviction, the subtle edits to your message until only a marketable shell remained. I kept you off those stages, even when your heart ached to be useful, because I will not let usefulness replace union. If a platform needed your compromise to sustain it, I removed you from it. If a room would have welcomed your talent but gagged your truth, I closed it to you. I preferred your silence with me over your sound in a system that would have named you successful while slowly starving your soul. I spared you from agreements that looked like favor but would have cost you your future. I stood between you and signatures that felt like promotion but were actually purchase orders for your peace. There were contracts whose fine print would have owned your calendar, your voice, and the margins where I meet you. There were alliances that glimmered with promise, yet tethered you to people who would have demanded performance when I asked you to rest, who would have measured you by metrics while I measured you by faithfulness. I cut cords you could not see. I delayed callbacks you thought you needed. I let opportunities evaporate when you were ready to chase them, because the price tag attached to them was too high. It would have been your future flexibility, your ability to obey me quickly, your joy in serving without audience. I am not against favor. I am against fetters that masquerade as favor. I rescue you from golden cages before they close. Hear me say this with the weight of love that held the lock. I preserved your life, your voice, and your very breath. Some days you felt hemmed in by walls. What you did not know was that I was hemming you in from edges that crumbled. I spared you the collision you never saw by rerouting your morning. I quieted the anxiety that would have pushed you past your limits and into burnout that steals years, not days. I kept certain names from your contact list and certain headlines from your heart. I put a shield over your nervous system when storms tried to make your body forget peace. At night, when you thought you were merely exhausted, I placed rest as an armor around you so your mind would not fracture under the weight of unanswered questions. Your breath has been a miracle on ordinary days, and I have been its keeper. Your voice has been protected from entanglements that would have drafted it into causes that dilute the gospel I have engraved in you. Your life has been spared from slow leaks, habits that numb, patterns that erode, agreements that age hope before its time. Do not imagine that I only blocked what was bad. I guarded what was best. I kept wonder alive in you when cynicism campaigned for your allegiance. I preserve tenderness in your responses so that, when authority comes, it arrives in hands that still know how to bless. I tended your hunger for me so fame could not feed on it. I hid you from spotlight sickness, from the dizziness of sudden ascent, from the babel of many voices, demanding your attention until mine became faint. I would rather you come into an open door, late to the world and right on time to heaven, than early to applause and estranged from your own soul. So, when you think of the lock, remember what it preserved. Oil to burn with purpose, clarity to discern the true from the flashy, peace to anchor you when currents pull, a voice unbought and a breath unbroken. I did this not to keep you small but to keep you whole, so that when I open the true door, you carry with you the very things that make your crossing holy. This is my protective purpose. This is the mercy behind the delay. My lock preserved what matters most so you could carry it through the true door. And now, with oil unspilled, eyes clear, and breath steady, you will. My child, now let me show you what I built in you while you called it waiting, because that hallway was not a void, it was a classroom, and I was not absent. I was your teacher. I enrolled you in lessons you did not know you were taking, and I graduated you from tests you did not know you were passing. In that long corridor where clocks felt louder than my voice, I was shaping the person who could carry the weight of the room without the room crushing the weight of your soul. Hear me say it plainly. Your waiting was a classroom where I built what the open door requires. I set your roots deeper than your reach, because I will not let branches outgrow what the trunk can bear. I strengthened the unseen parts, convictions, rhythms, motives, so that when the wind of opportunity hits, your leaves do not boast while your heart buckles. Deeper roots mean you draw water from places applause cannot touch. Deeper roots mean storms do not get to rewrite your theology. Deeper roots mean longevity rather than spikes of visibility that flame and fall. I did this because your future fruit requires it. I purified your motives, not to shame you, but to set you free from the compulsions that would have weaponized your calling against your own peace. I led you into hidden places where you served without mention, where you gave without receipt, where you chose integrity when convenience deserved a vote. In those private yeses, your reasons were washed. not to prove you holy to others, but to make you honest with me. Clean motives are light to carry. Mixed motives are sand in the gears of your soul. I loved you enough to make your why clean, so your work could be clean, so your worship inside the work could remain unbroken. I steadied your hands. I trained them to bless when criticized, to build without broadcasting, to hold power like a basin and a towel rather than a scepter and a stage. I taught your fingers the strength of unclenching, because grasping breaks, but open hands receive. Steady hands know how to carry fragile people and unformed ideas across thresholds without dropping them. Steady hands finish assignments when novelty fades. Steady hands say yes to faithfulness and no to frenzy. I put weight in your grip by teaching you how to rest. I gave you endurance by teaching you how to pause. This is why the open door will not become an open wound. Your hands are not frantic anymore. I trained your ear, and I did it in two sanctuaries, the crowded room and the empty one. In noise, I taught you to hear me through the static of flattery and fear. I let you notice how applause can echo until it sounds like me if you do not know my tone. I taught you to ask, "What is your piece saying?" even when the room said, "Do it now or lose your chance." In quiet, when the hallway felt endless and your steps seemed to go nowhere, I let you find my whisper without the help of outcomes. You learned that my voice is not a reward for performance, but the air you breathe. Now, when the door swings and voices swell, your ear will not forget the sound of the one who carried you in silence. I schooled you in stewardship, because promotion without practice breeds collapse. I showed you how to carry little with honor, so that more does not break you. I taught you to budget your time by presence, to treat your attention like currency, to count your yeses like treasures. I led you to 10 small tasks as altars, sending the text of encouragement with sincerity, answering emails without annoyance, crafting words without cutting corners, returning plates and carts that no one would notice. I asked you to care for the room you already had, your home, your body, your friendships, your daily bread, so that your life would not develop leaks when more is poured in. Stewardship is not management alone, it is worship that remembers who owns the house and who sets the table. Because you learned it with little, you will carry more without making more your master. I strengthened discernment in you until no became an act of praise, and yes became a covenant rather than a compulsion. Discernment is not suspicion, it is holy sight, the ability to recognize me in opportunities and to recognize me in closed doors too. I trained you to notice the grain of grace under your feet, where your steps slide and where they stick, and to align your decisions with that felt anointing. I taught you to test invitations by peace, to weigh partnerships by fruit, to measure timing by obedience instead of optics. I took the tremble out of your boundary lines and put kindness into your refusals. This is why an open door will not become a trap. You know your shepherd's gate, and you are not flattered by false welcomes. I stretched patience in you, not to prolong pain, but to give you a self that does not break at the first delay. Patience is courage that learned to breathe. It is faith that learned to hold its stance without turning stone into idols or timelines into tyrants. I did not make you passive, I made you paced. I slowed your reactive urge to fix what only time with me could form. I loosened your addiction to immediate answers and quick relief. And I replaced it with a trust that leans on me when clocks glare. The open door has its own pace. You will match it because you carry patience as ballast. I infused you with holy confidence, the quiet kind that sits in rooms without apologizing for existing, and without needing to dominate to feel safe. Holy confidence is born where humility and assurance meet. It does not shout, it knows. I taught you to walk into spaces as one sent, not as one who snuck in. I wrote identity into your bones until comparison could visit but not stay. I set you free from auditioning for love so you could perform assignments in love. Now, when favor finds you, you will not turn it into a mirror for your worth. You will turn it into a window for my goodness. I calibrated your appetite. I reduced your taste for chaos and increased your hunger for peace. I uncoupled adrenaline from purpose so that you do not confuse crisis with calling. I matured your joy until it could sit quietly with me without needing a crowd to prove to you that life is good. This is how we end the era where the open door becomes an open wound. You are no longer looking for doors to heal what only my presence heals. You are whole enough to enter the room for the room's sake, not for the room to fix you. I taught you secrets that only hallway students learn. How to forgive faster than offense can calcify. How to bless what leaves you without binding yourself to bitterness. How to celebrate others without shrinking yourself. How to lay down what you love when I ask, because you trust that nothing surrendered in love is ever lost in me. I trained you to pray before you plan, to plan with open hands, to pivot without panic, and to persevere with praise when plans change. These are not small lessons. They are structural beams in the house you are about to build on the other side. My child, let this settle. The hallway was not a holding pen, it was a forge. The fire did not burn you, it burned away what could not come with you. The quiet did not ignore you, it tuned you. The slowness did not sideline you, it stabilized you. Every day you wanted to call wasted is now revealed as invested. Every breath you thought was survival has been rebranded as training. The open door is no longer a test of your worth, it is an assignment for which you have been formed. So stand here with me a moment longer and honor the school you are graduating from. Bless the lessons that felt like loss while they were giving you gain. Thank me for deeper roots, for cleaner motives, for steadier hands. Thank me for an ear that knows me in noise and in stillness. Thank me for stewardship that protects you from the seduction of more. Thank me for discernment, patience, and holy confidence that make this threshold a place of peace, not pressure. I am not sending you through as a novice trembling at headlines. I am sending you as a child who knows my heart, and because you were formed in the hallway, you will not be deformed in the room. My child, because you have been formed, you must now be discerning, for not every opening is my invitation, and not every unlocked latch is my hand. Some doors swing wide with noise and urgency and flattery, and they will call themselves answered prayer, simply because they appeared quickly, simply because they sparkle, simply because they promise relief from the ache of waiting. But hear me, counterfeits do not come wearing horns. They come wearing convenience. They come sounding like opportunity, but underneath the shine they carry a demand. Dim your light, rush your peace, pledge loyalty to fear, trade your boundaries for belonging, trade your healing for access. I am not speaking to make you suspicious of everything. I am speaking to keep you safe in what I am opening. I did not bring you through a hallway of formation just to let you be pulled through a side door of compromise. Listen closely, because this will save you years. If an opening requires you to hide what I healed, it is not from me. If it asks you to pretend you are still broken so you can be accepted by people who only know how to love a wounded version of you, it is not from me. If it pressures you to re-enter cycles I delivered you from, old addictions dressed up as just this once, old relationships dressed up as closure, old patterns dressed up as being realistic, it is not from me. I did not stitch you back together so you could crawl into a room that celebrates your bleeding. I did not teach you to breathe again so you could sign your breath away to an environment that thrives on your anxiety. What I heal, I do not ask you to conceal. What I restore, I do not ask you to shrink. What I deliver, I do not ask you to revisit as entertainment. There are counterfeit doors that demand hurry as payment. They will say, decide now or lose it. Answer tonight or it's gone. Prove you want it by panicking. But I am the God of peace, and I do not lead you by the leash of frenzy. Holy momentum is not anxiety in a tuxedo. When I open a door, I can still your heart while I move your feet. When I authorize an entrance, you do not have to trample your own soul to step through. The counterfeit will push you to outrun my presence. The true door will invite you to walk with me. The counterfeit will make you feel like you are about to be punished if you hesitate. The true door will make you feel like you are being guided, even as you move. So test every opening, my beloved, and do not be ashamed to test it. I gave you discernment for this very hour. Ask what the surface excitement tries to keep you from asking. Does this align with my word? Or does it require you to edit what I have already spoken? Does it carry my peace? Or does it whip up your fear and call it passion? Does it honor the boundaries I gave you? Or does it treat your no like an obstacle to be worn down? I have taught you that boundaries are not a lack of love. They are the architecture of stewardship. If a door only opens when your boundaries are dismantled, then it is not a door, it is a trap with a welcome mat. If you have to betray wisdom to be wanted, if you have to silence conviction to be included, if you have to make room for darkness to keep a connection, then the room is not worthy of the light I placed in you. Watch what the door asks you to worship. Counterfeit doors will require allegiance to appearances, to numbers, to applause, to control, to the fear of missing out. They will train you to look over your shoulder, to compete, to compare, to grasp. But my true opening will call you into love, into integrity, into faithfulness, into service, into humility that does not erase you and courage that does not harden you. The true door will not demand you perform a version of yourself that cannot pray. It will not demand you become impressive at the cost of being intimate with me. It will not demand secrecy that corrodes your conscience. My door may stretch you, yes, but it will not split you. My door may challenge you, yes, but it will not violate you. And hear this, because I know you have been afraid of missing me. I confirm, I do not confuse. The enemy rushes and blurs. I lead and clarify. Confusion that multiplies every time you consider an opening is not my signature. I am able to speak plainly to a willing heart. I am able to settle you even when the assignment is big. Do not mistake chaos for confirmation. Do not mistake intensity for instruction. If you cannot hear me in it, if you cannot find me in it, if you cannot keep your soul in it, then pause. My child, you are allowed to pause. You are allowed to breathe. You are allowed to ask me again. I am not offended by your carefulness. I am the one who taught you to count the cost, so you do not build with straw what should be built with stone. And I will not send you alone into a decision meant to be witnessed by wisdom. Seek wise counsel, not crowds. Bring it into the light with people who love me more than they love your outcome. There are voices I have placed around you, steady, prayerful, anchored, who will not be impressed by sparkle and will not be intimidated by pressure. Let them listen with you. Let them pray with you, not because you cannot hear me, but because I often confirm my word through the mouths of the faithful. So your steps are strengthened and your shoulders are not burdened by isolation. The counterfeit door will insist, keep it quiet, decide quickly, don't ask anyone. But I am not the author of hidden panic. I am the Father of light and order and peace. So stand at the threshold with your hand on the handle and do not move just because it moves. Move because I am in it. Move because peace is in it. Move because honor is in it. The true door will not ask you to become smaller than what I have made. It will ask you to become truer. It will not bargain with fear. It will break fear's claim with love. It will not require you to hide your healing. It will require you to steward it. And when you find that door, the one that aligns with my word, carries my peace, and respects the boundaries I taught you to keep, you will feel it. Not a frantic pull, but a steady permission. That is how you will know. Counterfeits agitate, my openings anchor. Counterfeits flatter, my door forms. Counterfeits take, my door entrusts. Stay close to me, my child, and you will not mistake a loud latch for my voice. My child, now watch closely, because the hinge is turning, and I do not turn it in secret without also giving you the mercy of recognition. I am not asking you to leap blind. I am teaching you how to see me moving without needing to be shoved by panic. The true opening does not begin with your fear screaming louder. It begins with your spirit standing taller. It begins with a deep, quiet yes, rising in you steady, unforced, unperformed, like a lamp being lit from the inside. And as that yes rises, I am removing fear's microphone. Fear has had a voice in your decisions for too long. It has narrated your future, edited your prayers, and tried to make wisdom feel like weakness. But in this hour, I am lowering its volume. I am not merely giving you an opportunity. I am giving you peace with it. I am not merely giving you a door. I am giving you the courage to touch the handle without your hands shaking. That calm you cannot explain, that steadiness that is not based on outcomes, that breath that comes back into your chest when you think about moving forward, that is a sign. That is my peace, confirming my timing. And hear me, when I open what I have appointed, provision does not arrive like chaos, it arrives like order. I do not send what sustains you in a way that steals you. I do not bless you with acceleration that fractures your foundations. Watch how I do it quietly, precisely, in alignment. The right resources begin to appear without you begging for them. The right person returns your call without manipulation. The right door responds without you having to become a version of yourself you cannot pray as. Favor meets integrity, my child, not compromise. And when it is me, the pieces do not demand that you lie to make them fit. They click into place with a sound you recognize in your spirit: peace, clarity, and clean conscience. You will notice that you can keep your boundaries and still be welcomed. You will notice that you can speak truth and still be trusted. You will notice that you do not have to barter your rest to maintain momentum. This is how you will know the hinge is turning. Order begins to gather around obedience. Some of you have been trained by disappointment to expect everything to fall apart when you step toward what I promised. You expect resistance to multiply, because in the past, every time you tried, something fought you. But I am telling you now, when I authorize the opening, resistance parts rather than multiplies when you speak what I have spoken. There is a difference between warfare that warns you away from a counterfeit and opposition that crumbles when you stand in my word. When it is me, your voice carries weight not because you are loud, but because you are aligned. You will say one sentence in faith, and what used to argue with you will suddenly grow quiet. You will make one obedient move, and what used to be tangled will begin to untangle. You will find that you are no longer wrestling for permission from people who never had authority to approve you. You will find that conversations that used to exhaust you become brief, resolved, and clear. This is not because you became stronger by yourself. It is because I am standing in the doorway with you, and my presence rearranges what once resisted you. When I am in it, you do not have to push a mountain with your forehead. You speak, you obey, you remain humble, and the path makes room. And I am also confirming the opening by the way old assignments release you. My child, I know you have stayed in rooms longer than you should have, not because you lacked faith, but because you were faithful. You did not want to abandon people. You did not want to be misunderstood. You did not want to be accused of quitting, so you endured seasons with grace. Even when your heart whispered, "This is changing. Hear me," when the hinge turns. You will not have to leave with bitterness to leave with obedience. I am teaching you to transition without resentment. The old will begin to bless you on the way out. The demand will lessen. The tension will lift. The responsibilities that once clung to you like vines will loosen without you ripping them off in anger. You will sense it. A clean release, a quiet permission, an unhooking. What used to require you to over-explain will simply end. What used to feel like a fight to step away will become a handoff. This is a sign, my beloved, because I do not deliver you into your future by poisoning your past. I close chapters with honor, so your heart stays soft. And as the old releases, the new greets you with clarity, not with confusion that multiplies at night, not with dread that sits in your stomach, not with flattery that inflates you and then abandons you. When I bring you to the true opening, you may still feel awe, you may still feel the weight of responsibility, you may still feel the stretching of growth, but you will also feel direction. You will not be guessing who you must become to belong there. You will not be negotiating your convictions at the entrance. You will know what you are there to do, even if you do not yet know every detail of how it will unfold. Clarity is one of my kindnesses. It is the way I keep you from being swallowed by options. And I will send you not only an open door, but aligned people. People who recognize oil without trying to own it. People who value your obedience more than your performance. People who do not need you to stay broken so they can feel needed. The right connections will not feel like cages. They will feel like confirmation. They will not rush you into the room to use you. They will walk with you into the room to build with you. So pay attention to what is changing inside you and around you. Fear is losing its microphone, and peace is gaining its seat. Provision is arriving with order, not frenzy. Integrity is being honored by favor, not punished by it. Resistance is parting when you speak my word, because I am backing what I have breathed. Old assignments are releasing you without resentment, and new ones are greeting you with clarity, not confusion. These are not random shifts. These are my confirmations. I am not teasing you, my child. I am not dangling hope to entertain you. I am confirming the opening with peace, provision, and right alignment, so you can step forward without losing your soul. And as the hinge turns, do not harden your heart in self-protection, soften it in trust. Stay close, stay listening, stay surrendered, because the door I am opening is not merely an exit from a hallway. It is an entrance into stewardship, and I am teaching you to recognize my hand, so you do not hesitate when it is time to move. Now, my child, because you can feel the handle warm under your palm, because you can sense the shift in the air, I am giving you instructions not to make you cautious, but to make you secure. Do not treat this threshold like a game of speed, and do not treat this opening like it is fragile and will vanish if you breathe wrong. I am the one who opened it, and I am not asking you to burst through it in your own strength. I am asking you to walk through with me. This is not the hour for swagger, and it is not the hour for shrinking. It is the hour for humble boldness. Head up, heart soft, hands clean. Lift your head because shame is not your covering anymore. Keep your heart soft because cynicism will try to harden you right as I am expanding you. Keep your hands clean because what I am entrusting to you cannot be carried by compromise, and what I am giving you cannot be stewarded by secret deals with fear. So hear me clearly. Enter with your head up, not to impress anyone, but to agree with what I say about you. You are not sneaking in. You are not trespassing into blessing. You are not hoping people do not notice you. I have authorized your steps, and when I authorize, you do not need to apologize for the sound of your shoes on the floor. But keep your heart soft, my beloved, because doors can open and hearts can still close. Do not let past rejection teach you to arrive guarded. Do not let old disappointments teach you to suspect everyone, to read threats into every smile, to hold your breath as if love is always about to leave. I did not heal you so you could live armored. I did not deliver you so you could live braced for impact. Walk in with a tender heart that listens, a heart that remains teachable, a heart that can be corrected without collapsing, a heart that can be celebrated without becoming proud. And keep your hands clean. This is more than behavior, this is posture. It means you will not manipulate to maintain what I give you. You will not twist truth to keep a seat. You will not call anxiety wisdom and control leadership. You will not take shortcuts that turn later into chains. There will be moments on the other side where you could get there faster by compromising faster connections, faster applause, faster money, faster recognition, but speed, bought with integrity, is always paid back with sorrow. I am not inviting you into a room that requires you to stain your conscience to stay. If you must dirty your hands to hold it, you were never meant to carry it. I will bless clean hands, my child, because clean hands can lift others without leaving residue. Clean hands can build without corrupting what they touch. Clean hands can sign agreements without signing away their peace. Now, about your pace, do not sprint. I know you have been waiting so long that part of you wants to run just to prove the delay was not wasted, just to make up for lost time, just to silence the voice that said, "You're behind." But I am telling you, the pace of the breakthrough is not panic. Walk with me, match my stride. Let intimacy set your speed. Urgency without intimacy becomes anxiety, and anxiety will make you mistake motion for obedience. It will make you say yes to things I never asked for simply because your nervous system feels relief when it is busy. But I am not impressed by your exhaustion. I am not honored by your burnout. I am glorified by your obedience, and obedience has a rhythm. Breathe, listen, move. Breathe, listen, move. If you cannot keep me with you in it, you are moving too fast. If your prayer life collapses the moment opportunity appears, slow down. If your sleep disappears the moment favor shows up, slow down. If your peace becomes a casualty of progress, slow down. I am not asking you to crawl, I am asking you to walk, because walking keeps you close enough to hear me when the path bends. And as you walk, practice what I taught you in the hallway, because the door does not erase your disciplines, it demands them. Keep worship first, my child. Not as background music, not as a ritual you squeeze into the leftovers of your day, but as the center that everything else circles. Worship will keep your heart from becoming a marketplace. Worship will keep your success from turning into self-salvation. Worship will remind you that what I give you is not your God, I am. So when you step through, do not immediately begin rehearsing what you will accomplish. Begin by honoring the one who opened it. Speak gratitude out loud. Let it be audible. Let it be inconvenient. Let your mouth remember me before it begins to negotiate with outcomes. Gratitude is not politeness. It is protection. It keeps you from entitlement. It keeps you from forgetting who carried you when there was no applause. It keeps you from acting like you arrived because you forced the lock. Keep your boundaries clear, too. Do not confuse an open door with unlimited access. The room you are entering will have many hands reaching, many voices requesting, many invitations stacking like letters on a table. And I am telling you now, Say yes to the assignment, not to every invitation. There are opportunities that will be distractions wearing the costume of favor. There are conversations that will drain you while calling themselves networking. There are requests that will flatter you into overcommitment and then punish you for being human. You do not owe your yes to everything that celebrates you. You owe your yes to me. I did not bring you into this opening so you could be owned by the expectations of people. I brought you in so you could serve with freedom and with focus. So, when invitations multiply, do not panic and grab them all like you are afraid I will never open another door. I am the God of doors, my child. I do not run out of openings. I am teaching you to choose what is aligned, to decline what is draining, to honor what is holy, to ignore what is merely loud. Be focused and be faithful. Let your yes be clean, and let your no be kind. You do not need to explain yourself into exhaustion. You do not need to over-justify obedience. I will defend what I assigned. Keep your calendar submitted to me. Keep your relationships filtered by peace. Keep your motives checked by my presence. When you begin to feel pulled in 10 directions, return to the simple question that keeps you safe. Father, what are you asking me to do in this season? Not what are they asking, not what are they expecting, not what would make you look impressive. What am I asking? Because I am not opening this door to scatter you, I am opening it to send you. So step through, my beloved, but step through with me. Head up because I have chosen you, heart soft because love is still your language, hands clean because integrity is still your covering. Walk, do not sprint because closeness is still your strength. Keep worship first, boundaries clear, gratitude audible, focus steady. And as you cross this threshold, do not look for who you used to be to escort you into who you are becoming. The old survival version of you cannot lead here. Let it stay in the hallway with honor. Take my hand, take my peace, take my instruction, and take one obedient step at a time, because the door is opening, and I am not only bringing you into a new space, I am teaching you how to live there without losing your soul. My child, as you stand at this threshold with my hand in yours, I need you to understand this. You cannot walk into what I have opened while wearing the names that pain gave you. You have learned to introduce yourself with disappointment, to answer to labels you never chose, to carry words that were spoken over you in moments when you were too tired to defend your own heart. And I am not letting you step through with those chains hidden under your clothes, not because I am harsh, but because I am kind, not because I want to expose you to shame, but because I want to free you from it. So listen closely, and let this be holy and personal, because I am touching the places you kept covered. I am stripping from you the labels fastened by delay, the names that grew in the dark while you were waiting in the hallway. Too late, behind, overlooked. Second choice, not enough, hard to love, always almost. Those are not prophecies, my beloved. Those are scars trying to speak. Those are the echo of doors that stayed closed, the echo of people who did not recognize what I placed in you, the echo of times you were passed over and you swallowed your questions so you would not look needy. I saw you, my child. I saw you smile like you were fine, while something in you whispered, maybe I missed it. Maybe I'm not chosen. Maybe I'm the backup plan. And I am telling you now, with my authority and my tenderness, you were never my second thought. You were never my afterthought. You were never my consolation prize. You are mine. Some of you have been wearing too late, like a clock around your neck. You measure your life by what hasn't happened yet, and you punish yourself every time you see someone else walking in what you wanted. But I am the Lord of time, and I am not intimidated by calendars. I am not limited by age. I am not threatened by how long it has been. What I have appointed does not expire because you had to endure a season of waiting. I am not calling you late. I am calling you ready. The hallway did not make you behind. It made you built. It made you steady. It made you capable of carrying what you used to beg for without collapsing under it. And overlooked. Oh, my child, I know how that one feels. I know the sting of being faithful and still unseen, serving and still uncelebrated, loving and still not chosen. I know the nights when you replayed conversations, wondering what you could have said differently, what you could have done better, how you could have made them notice you. But hear me, being overlooked by people did not mean you were overlooked by me. I was watching you when no one clapped. I was training you when no one affirmed you. I was strengthening your roots when you could not see any fruit. And I did not allow certain eyes to recognize you too early, because I was protecting you from being named by people who would have used you, owned you, or pulled you into rooms that would have celebrated your gifting while starving your soul. What looked like being ignored was often my mercy, keeping you from premature exposure. And second choice, I am removing that lie like a hook from your skin, because you have carried the memory of almosts, of maybes, of will see, of not right now, and you let those moments write a sentence across your identity. You let delay translate into deficiency. You let rejection translate into worthlessness. But I do not write about you with the ink of human inconsistency. I write about you with covenant. I name you loved. I name you chosen. I name you trusted. I name you prepared. And when I name you, my child, I do not flatter you. I establish you. When I call you chosen, I am not describing a feeling. I am announcing a reality. When I call you loved, I am not negotiating with your past. I am overriding it with truth. So, stop treating your story like a disqualification. Stop holding your history up like evidence against yourself. Stop speaking about your wounds as if they are the verdict. Yes, you went through what you went through. Yes, it hurt the way it hurt. Yes, you survived what you should not have had to survive. But I am telling you, your story is not a stain. It is a testimony. It is not a disqualification. It is a qualification sealed by redemption. I did not waste your tears. I did not ignore your prayers. I did not abandon you in the lessons that felt too heavy. I have taken what tried to break you, and I have put my hand on it, and I have turned it into wisdom, compassion, discernment, endurance, and authority that cannot be taught in comfort. You are not entering this door as a fraud. You are entering as evidence that I restore. And I need you to release the false humility that keeps you small at the entrance. Some of you think shrinking is safety. You think if you stay quiet, you will not be noticed. And if you are not noticed, you cannot be hurt again. But my child, I did not heal you so you could hide. I did not bring you to a threshold so you could apologize for taking up space. You will not step into my promise with your eyes on the floor. Lift your head, not in pride, but in agreement. Because shame will try one last time to whisper, "Who do you think you are?" And your answer will not be a performance. Your answer will be surrender. I am who God says I am. Let me say it plainly, because you have needed it plainly. When you let me see you, I heal you, not the edited version, not the strong version, not the version that has everything under control. The real you, the tired you, the grieving you, the hopeful you that's afraid to hope again. When you let me see you, I heal you. When you stop hiding the places that ache, I pour peace into them. When you stop pretending you are unaffected, I strengthen you from the inside. And when you step with me, I reveal you. I do not just open a door, I unveil a son, I unveil a daughter, I unveil the one you were becoming while you thought nothing was happening. Your obedience does not just move you into a new room, it brings the real you into the light, whole, clear, and unashamed. So at this threshold, my beloved, take off the old names. Lay them down right here, at the doorframe. Lay down too late. Lay down overlooked. Lay down second choice. Lay down not enough. Lay down the identity you built to survive. Because the room I am bringing you into requires truth, not masks. It requires sonship, not striving. It requires peace, not punishment. Enter as who you are in me, chosen, healed, and ready. And do not fear that the new space will demand a new costume. I am not upgrading your image. I am restoring your identity. Step through as yourself, surrendered and secure, because I am not only opening the door, I am calling your name, and you are finally going to answer it without flinching. Now, my beloved, do not rush past this doorframe with your hands full of yesterday. Do not step into what I am opening while still gripping the clock, still gripping the old conclusions, still gripping the fear that says, if I move and I fail, it will prove I never should have hoped. Come closer. Breathe with me. Let your shoulders drop. Let your jaw unclench. Let the need to control the outcome loosen its fingers. Because I am not asking you to be brave in your own strength. I am asking you to surrender into my strength. And surrender, my child, is not you giving up. Surrender is you giving me permission to lead you where your fear cannot. So, pray with me now, right here at the doorframe. And do not pray like you are performing. Pray like a child finally coming home. Say, Father, I release the false timelines I have been living under. I release the clock I have used to condemn myself. I release the comparisons that made me feel late. I release the pressure to make everything happen fast just to prove I am not behind. I release the sentence I wrote in pain that said, "It's over," when I was only exhausted. I release the bitter conclusions I formed when doors stayed shut, when people didn't choose me, when I did not understand what you were doing. I release the fear of failure that has been hiding behind perfection. I release the fear of being seen. I release the fear of being disappointed again. I release the fear that if I step forward, I will lose what little stability I have. Father, I put it down. I put it all down. And now, my child, receive what I am giving. Say, Father, I receive your timing, not my rushing, not my stalling, your timing. I receive your peace as confirmation. I receive your permission to move now without apology. I receive the grace for one obedient step at a time. I receive clarity where confusion used to spiral at night. I receive the courage that comes from being held, not the courage that comes from pretending I am unafraid. I receive your voice above every other voice. I receive your yes that silences the old no. I receive the steadiness of heaven in my chest. I receive the clean conscience that comes from obedience. I receive the wisdom to walk through the door you open and to ignore the doors that only flatter my anxiety. And listen, my beloved, because this is part of your healing. Say, Father, I forgive what closed me. I forgive the people who shut the door with their ignorance, with their jealousy, with their fear, with their misjudgment. I forgive the seasons that felt unfair. I forgive the disappointments that trained me to brace for loss. I forgive myself for the ways I blamed myself for what was not mine to carry. I forgive the version of me that tried to survive by shrinking. I forgive without excusing, and I release without returning. And Father, I also embrace what formed me. I embrace the hallway as a classroom. I embrace the waiting as a refining. I embrace the lessons that taught me discernment. I embrace the strength you built in me when nobody could see it. I embrace the tenderness you preserved in me when it would have been easier to become cold. I do not worship the pain, but I honor the work you did in it. I will not drag bitterness into a new room. I will not carry old poison into fresh promise. So ask me now, and mean it. Father, lead me. Lead me through the door you open. Lead me in the pace of peace. Lead me in humility. Lead me in clean hands. Lead me in truth. Close what needs to stay closed, even if my emotions argue, and open what you have appointed, even if my mind feels small. Guard me from counterfeit opportunities. Guard me from rushing. Guard me from striving. Guard me from the need to prove myself. Teach me to recognize you, to obey you quickly, to rest while I move. Teach me to steward what you are giving me, not to idolize it, not to fear it, not to waste it. And now, my child, seal it with agreement. Say, Amen. Let that Amen not be a word you say once and forget. Let it become your steady breath as you move. Amen when your feet step forward. Amen when your mind tries to run ahead. Amen when the old timeline tries to accuse you. Amen when fear tries to grab the handle first. Amen when you are tempted to look back for who you used to be. Amen when the room feels unfamiliar. Because this is what surrender does. It makes you steady. It unlocks the courage that does not come from adrenaline. And it unlocks the clarity that does not come from control. And as you breathe that surrender, I am guiding you, I am with you, and you will step through, not trembling in terror, but trembling in awe, held by my peace, led by my hand, and finally free to move at my appointed hour. Now, my child, stay close and do not let your mind wander back into old arguments, because this is the moment where agreement becomes a key in your mouth. You have surrendered at the doorframe. You have laid down the false timelines. You have released the bitterness and the fear, and now I am asking you to speak with me, not to convince me, but to align you. Because there is power in what you declare when it is joined to my timing. And there is courage that rises when your own ears hear you agree with heaven. I am not asking you to shout to feel strong. I am asking you to declare so your spirit remembers who is leading, and so your soul stops negotiating with yesterday. So declare it aloud, my beloved, even if your voice shakes a little, even if you have not spoken boldly in a long time, say it. The door God locked for my protection is opening now at His command. Say it again, and let it land deeper than your emotions. The door God locked for my protection is opening now, not because you forced it, not because you begged the right people, not because you performed well enough, but because I, the Lord your God, have spoken, and when I speak, locks yield without damage and doors open without fear. What you called rejection, I call restraint. What you called delay, I call mercy. What you called not yet, I call not safe. And now the season has changed, the hour has turned, and the door is responding to my voice. Declare this too, my child, because striving has been a heavy chain around your chest. I will not strive out of season. I will not chase what is not mine. I will not run ahead to prove I am worthy. I will not panic to make up for time. I move with heaven's timing and heaven's peace. Yes, say it plainly. I move with heaven's timing and heaven's peace. Because you have tried to move with adrenaline, and you have tried to move with fear, and you have tried to move with comparison, and it left you exhausted even when nothing changed. But I am teaching you a different way now. I am teaching you to recognize the sound of my peace as permission. I am teaching you that when I open, you do not have to shove. When I call, you do not have to scramble. When I appoint, you do not have to compete. The rush was never your proof. Obedience is your proof. The anxiety was never your wisdom. My presence is your wisdom. Now declare what I have been whispering to you in the hallway, because what was guarded is about to be given, and what was preserved is about to be poured out. Say, my life was not wasted in waiting. My tears were not wasted. My prayers were not ignored. What God preserved in me will now be poured through me without loss. Yes, my child, without loss. You will not step into this opening and become less human. You will not step into this room and lose your tenderness. You will not step into this new season and forfeit your peace to keep your place. I preserved your heart so it would not become hard. I preserved your conscience so it would not become numb. I preserved your worship so success would not replace me. I preserved your discernment so you would not call counterfeits favor. And now I am releasing what I protected, not as a flood that drowns you, but as a river that carries you. What I formed in secret will serve in public. What I healed in private will strengthen others. What I refined in the hidden place will become fruit in the open place. Declare, my beloved, that you will not carry the old story into the new room like a weapon against yourself. Say, I am not entering as the one who was rejected. I am entering as the one who was protected. I am not entering as the one who was delayed. I am entering as the one who was prepared. I am not entering as the one who almost made it. I am entering as the one God appointed. And let your heart feel the difference. Because the same hallway that tried to convince you that you were forgotten is now being exposed as the corridor of my kindness. The lock did not mean you were unworthy. It meant you were valued. It meant I was safeguarding you from a room that would have taken from you what you could not afford to lose. And now, the opening is not a trap. It is not a test you will fail. It is a promise you will steward with me. Now, my child, let your mouth agree with my hand. Say, I receive courage that is calm. I receive wisdom that is clear. I receive favor that does not corrupt me. I receive opportunity that does not steal intimacy. I receive increase that does not increase anxiety. I receive expansion that does not erase my boundaries. Because I am not just opening a door, I am teaching you how to walk through it as yourself, whole, steady, and led. This is not the hour to faint at the threshold. And it is not the hour to look back for permission from people who never had authority over your calling. The only permission you need is my peace, and I am giving it to you now. And because agreement anchors you when emotions fluctuate, I want you to seal this declaration with action, not as performance, but as covenant. If you can, type it in faith where you are, and let your own eyes read your agreement. The door God locked for my protection is opening now. Type it, and do not treat it like a comment. Treat it like alignment. Let it be the line you stand on when doubt tries to bargain with you. Let it be the sentence you return to when old fear tries to tell you it will close again. Let it be the marker in the ground that says, I will not go back to striving. I will not go back to begging. I will not go back to interpreting protection as punishment. Because when you agree with my timing, courage is released. Not the loud courage that pretends nothing hurts, but the holy courage that walks forward while still tender, while still humble, while still dependent on me. So declare it one more time, my child, and let it become your steady breath like that. Amen, you spoke. The door God locked for my protection is opening now, and as you say it, feel the weight lift. Feel the tension loosen. Feel the old season losing its grip. I am not teasing you. I am not dangling hope to disappoint you. I'm commanding the opening, and I'm walking you through it. Stay with me, agree with me, and move peacefully, faithfully, bravely in step with my appointed hour. Now, my child, because the door is opening does not mean you stop watching. Because the handle is turning does not mean you stop praying. I am not only bringing you through, I am teaching you how to stay through. I am teaching you how to carry what I am giving you without letting it carry you. Because many have been promoted into rooms they begged for, and then they bled in those rooms because they did not know how to guard their heart, how to guard their peace, how to guard their devotion. But you will not be that story, not because you are perfect, but because you will be present with me. You will be anchored, you will be stewarded by my wisdom, not swept by your excitement. So hear me clearly, my beloved. Prioritize presence over platform. Keep your altar before your audience. Keep your secret place louder than your public place. Do not trade my voice for the noise of opinions. Do not let the new room make you addicted to being seen when I trained you to be faithful when you were hidden. I saw how you learned to pray without applause. I saw how you learned to worship when nobody noticed. And I am telling you, that is not a phase you outgrow. That is a foundation you build on. The door is opening, yes, but your greatest protection on the other side is not your talent, not your connections, not your momentum. It is your intimacy with me. It is the quiet yes you give me when nobody is watching. It is the way you return to me first, before you return a message, before you make a plan, before you announce anything. My child, keep your altar burning, because if the altar goes cold, the room will not feel like favor. It will feel like pressure. And now I give you wisdom that is practical, because I am the God of your spirit and the God of your schedule. I say to you, calendar your calling. Put boundaries around what I am birthing. Protect rest as obedience, not as reward. You are not a machine that I finally decided to use. You are my child that I am leading. So you will not run this new season on fumes to prove you deserve it. You will not treat exhaustion like holiness. You will not call burnout commitment. I am teaching you to build a life that can hold what I have opened, steady, paced, honest. Put accountability in your week, on purpose. Not when you are already confused. Not when you are already tempted. Not when you are already tired now. Choose the voices that can correct you without competing with you. Choose the people who will guard you, not flatter you, and protect undistracted work, my beloved. There are assignments that require silence. There are doors that stay open because you honored focus. Some of you will have to close the door to constant access so you can keep the door of purpose open. Do not feel guilty for protecting what I entrusted to you. Stewardship often looks like saying no with peace. And listen to me, because I am also guarding your heart from a trap. Do not let the open door turn you into someone who forgets where you came from. Carry generosity with you. Bless as you were blessed so the flow does not stagnate. I did not open this door so you could hoard. I did not increase you so fear could tighten its fist around your life. I did not bring you into more so you would become small inside. My child, the hallway taught you compassion. Do not lose it now that your prayers have answers. Remember what it felt like to need help. Remember what it felt like to hope quietly. Remember what it felt like to be the one nobody checked on. And as I put resources in your hands, time, wisdom, provision, influence, keep your hands open. Give in ways that are led, not pressured, faithful, not performative, joyful, not anxious. Because generosity is not just what you do for others. It is what it keeps you from becoming. It keeps you from becoming hard. It keeps you from becoming entitled. It keeps you from believing you did this by yourself. When you bless, you stay free. When you pour, you stay clean. When you share, you remember the source. And I need you to do this, my beloved, because there will be days on the other side when opposition whispers, when fatigue tries to rewrite the story, when your mind tries to romanticize the hallway just because it is familiar. So I tell you in advance, record testimonies, write them down, speak them out, mark them. Do not rely on emotion to remember what I did, because feelings can shift, but truth stands. Remembrance is the fuel of resilience. Keep a record of the doors I closed that later proved to be mercy. Keep a record of the provision that arrived at the last moment. Keep a record of the peace that confirmed the right turn. Keep a record of the healing that came quietly, line upon line, when you thought nothing was changing. My child, when you remember, you do not panic as easily. When you remember, you do not bow to fear as quickly. When you remember, you do not interpret one hard day as a sign that I left you. You will be able to say, "He brought me through then, and he will lead me now." This is not nostalgia, this is warfare. This is how you keep your footing when the ground feels new. So let this be your plan, and let it be simple enough to live. Presence, priorities, generosity, memory. Presence, so your soul stays attached to me and not to approval. Priorities, so your days do not get stolen by urgency and noise. Generosity, so your blessing stays flowing and your heart stays soft. Memory, so your faith stays fed when pressure rises. My child, I am not only opening a door, I am establishing you on the other side. And if you will guard what opens in these ways, you will not just step into a moment, you will build a life. You will not just experience breakthrough, you will sustain it. You will not just enter a room, you will carry my presence in it. And that, my beloved, is how the open door becomes a dwelling place, not a revolving door you fear will close again. Now, my beloved, do not be surprised when the moment you put your hand on what I opened, something tries to get loud. Do not be startled by the sudden noise at the threshold, as if it means you missed me, as if it means you were wrong, as if it means the opening was a mistake. My child, fear often shouts the loudest when it is losing ground. The old season does not release you quietly. The patterns that kept you small do not clap for you as you grow. The voices that benefited from your hesitation will not always celebrate your movement. And there are winds that rise simply because you stepped into a new space. Winds of opinion, winds of accusation, winds of temptation, winds of delay, winds of distraction, trying to make you believe that resistance is proof that I am not in it. But I tell you the truth. Opposition at the opening is not always a sign to turn around. Sometimes it is simply confirmation that you are crossing out of what was familiar and into what is appointed. Listen to me closely, because I am not speaking to create fear in you. I am speaking to awaken your discernment and to settle your spirit. The enemy of your soul does not need you to fail loudly. He only needs you to panic. He only needs you to rush. He only needs you to compromise once and then call it wisdom. He only needs you to abandon your boundaries because you are afraid the door will close. But, my child, I did not bring you to this doorway so you would enter like a fugitive, looking over your shoulder, bargaining with your peace, making desperate deals with your integrity. I brought you here to pass through as a son, as a daughter, steady, led, and covered. This is why I told you to steward the other side, because the test is not only whether you can step into blessing, the test is whether you can stay yourself when the room changes. So I am placing non-negotiables in your hands, and I want you to hold them like holy things. Purity, my beloved, purity of heart, purity of motive, purity of eyes, purity of speech, purity of choices, when nobody is watching. Truth, do not build anything on exaggeration. Do not sustain anything with half stories. Do not protect yourself with small lies that grow teeth later. Kindness, because pressure will try to make you sharp. Success will try to make you impatient. And offense will try to make you cruel and call it strength. But you will not become hard to survive what I opened. And boundaries, yes, boundaries, because access is not love, and availability is not obedience. You do not have to answer every call. You do not have to prove your gratitude by overextending your life. You do not have to keep the door open to people I already showed you were unsafe. My child, I did not rescue you from one kind of bondage to place you into another kind that wears a nicer suit. And when the opposition speaks, do not argue with it in your mind until you are exhausted. Do not let your thoughts become a courtroom where every fear gets to testify all night. Do not let one comment, one delay, one unexpected bill, one unfamiliar responsibility convince you that you imagined my voice. I have already given you what you need, the shield of peace and the sword of my word. Peace will not always feel like excitement. Peace will often feel like steadiness in the face of pressure. Peace will feel like a clear no when anxiety wants you to say yes. Peace will feel like taking the next step without needing the entire map. And my word, my child, My word is not decoration for your wall, it is a weapon for your mouth. When lies rise, do not answer with panic, answer with truth. When fear says, you are about to lose everything, answer, the Lord is my shepherd, I will not lack. When fear says, you are not ready, answer, he who began a good work in me will complete it. When fear says, they will reject you again, answer, I am accepted and appointed by God. When fear says, the door will close, answer, what God opens no man can shut. Do you hear me? Do not negotiate with the wind, speak to it with what I have already said. And I know, my beloved, you can feel the pull to look at everything at once, to watch the wind, to watch the waves, to watch the faces, to watch the numbers, to watch the timing, to watch what everyone else is doing, to watch for signs of danger in every shadow. But I am telling you what kept you in the hallway. You watched the door more than you watched me. You watched the lock more than you watched my hand. And now, as you pass through, you will not be led by what you see. You will be led by who I am. Keep your eyes on me in the doorway. Keep your attention on my presence, not on the noise. Keep your heart soft toward me, even when you must be firm with people. Keep your spirit anchored even when the atmosphere tries to swirl. Because courage, my child, is not adrenaline. Courage is not you feeling fearless. Courage is calm, obedience. Courage is doing the next right thing while your hands still tremble a little, while your voice still catches, while your history still tries to speak over your future. Courage is waking up and choosing truth again. Courage is keeping your purity when compromise offers you a shortcut. Courage is keeping your kindness when bitterness offers you a shield. Courage is holding your boundaries when guilt tries to call your no unloving. Courage is moving at the pace of peace when the world demands you sprint. And I will tell you this plainly, if you must choose between speed and obedience, choose obedience. If you must choose between being liked and being aligned, choose alignment. If you must choose between proving yourself and protecting your peace, protect your peace. Because peace is not passivity, it is my government resting on your soul. Now hear me, my beloved, because I am not sending you through the doorway alone. I am with you in the opening. I am with you when you sign the paper. I am with you when you step into the room and your stomach flips. I am with you when you introduce yourself again, not as who you were, but as who I have made you. I am with you when the first challenge arises and your mind tries to interpret it as a warning to retreat. I am with you when you have to make a decision quickly and you pause to listen. I am with you when you have to disappoint someone to obey me. I am with you when you have to close the conversation, close the access, close the compromise, even while the door of calling is opening wider. Do not confuse my presence with a life that has no friction. I am with you in the friction. I am with you in the crossing. I am with you in the doorway. So pass through, my child, but pass through the way I taught you. Head up, heart surrendered, hands clean, pace steady. Do not turn your head to see who is watching. Do not turn your heart to see who is clapping. Do not turn your mind to rehearse worst-case outcomes, as if that is wisdom. Fix your eyes on me and take the next step. And when the wind rises, remember, wind is not a wall. Noise is not a no. Resistance is not rejection. The door is not closing. You are simply learning to walk through it like someone who trusts the one who opened it. Stay with me. Stay in peace. Stay in truth. And move forward, not loud, not frantic to prove, but calm, obedient, and fearless in the only way that lasts, held by my hand as you pass through. Now, my child, as your foot lifts and your next step reaches for the other side, I seal you, not with hype, not with frantic energy, but with the quiet weight of my blessing that makes you steady when everything around you is moving. I bless your steps with clarity, so you do not stumble in confusion. I bless your mind with focus, so you do not scatter your strength on unnecessary battles. I bless your heart with steady peace, so you do not confuse pressure with my absence. And I bless your voice with authority, so when you speak, you do not speak as one begging for permission, but as one aligned with the King who sent you. I am placing my hand on your going and on your coming, on your decision and on your delay, on your yes and on your no, and you will feel the difference. Because when I bless you, I do not merely give you something, I establish you. And hear me, my beloved, because I am not sending you empty-handed. I place favor like a key in your hand, not so you can force doors, but so you can recognize what I have already unlocked. I place wisdom like a lamp at your feet, so you do not have to sprint in the dark or guess your way forward. I am giving you discernment that stays awake, even when emotions rise. I am giving you patience that does not procrastinate and courage that does not perform. And I am giving you peace that will speak louder than the opinions that try to rush you, because the room you are entering will test whether you can stay anchored, but I tell you now, you will. You will not be swallowed by the size of it. You will not be seduced by the shine of it. You will not be intimidated by the unfamiliar weight of it. I trained you in the hallway for this, and I stand in the doorway with you now, and I will remain on the other side, not as a visitor, but as your shepherd. Do not fear timing, my child. Do not fear that you have missed it. Do not fear that you are behind. Do not fear that you are late to the life I promised you. I have watched you measure yourself against clocks that were never meant to govern you. I have watched you compare your pace to people whose assignment is not your assignment. I have watched you replay decisions, conversations, and closed doors, wondering if one wrong step stole your future. And I am speaking over you with finality. You will not miss me. You will not be late. You will not be early. You will be right on time with me, right on time with my wisdom, right on time with my protection, right on time with my preparation. The enemy wanted you to believe that delay disqualified you, but delay refined you. The enemy wanted you to believe that rejection defined you, but rejection redirected you. And now that the door is opening, I will not allow anxiety to pretend it is discernment. I will not allow regret to pretend it is humility. I will not allow fear to pretend it is wisdom. You are moving with me, and when you move with me, you move with the only timing that never fails. So, I commission you, my beloved, not to visit what I opened, but to walk through it and live faithful inside it. Walk through with surrendered courage, courage that kneels before it stands, courage that listens before it speaks, courage that obeys even when the room is new. Walk through with holy discernment. Do not call every invitation mine. Do not call every compliment confirmation. Do not call every opportunity assignment. Let peace be your witness. Let alignment be your compass. Let integrity be your language. And walk through with faithful stewardship. Guard your altar. Guard your rest. Guard your boundaries. Guard your generosity. Guard your memory of what I have done. Because the other side is not sustained by excitement. It is sustained by devotion. You will not build this new season with frantic hands. You will build it with clean hands. You will not sustain it with people-pleasing. You will sustain it with obedience. You will not maintain it by proving. You will maintain it by abiding. And when you feel the weight of responsibility, do not interpret it as punishment. It is honor. It is trust. It is fruit. Breathe, my child. You are not carrying this alone. I am carrying you. And I speak this blessing over you as you cross. May your ears stay sensitive to my whisper, even in loud rooms. May your eyes stay fixed on me, even when others look away. May your hands stay open, open to receive what is mine, open to release what is not, open to bless without fear, open to work without striving. May your mouth speak truth without harshness and kindness without compromise. May your spirit stay soft and your spine stay strong. May you recognize my yes by the peace it brings, and my no by the mercy it carries. And when you meet resistance, may you remember what I told you. Wind is not a wall, noise is not a no, and friction is not the end of the story. I am with you, and my presence is not temporary. My presence is your portion. Now, my child, do not let this moment pass like a passing thought. Seal it with agreement, because agreement is a doorway you choose to walk through. If this word sealed your spirit, declare it where you are, and if you can, declare it in the comments, so your own eyes and your own heart can witness your yes. I walk through the door God opens. And if you have a testimony, if you can already see where I protected you, if you can already name the mercy and the lock, share it briefly, because your story will put a key in someone else's hand. And if you need prayer, do not hide in silence. Leave a simple request, so this family can stand with you, so you can feel what I have been building all along. You are not alone. Like this video as an act of agreement with heaven, not as a ritual, but as a point of contact that says, I receive what God has spoken. Share it to place a key in someone's hand who has been staring at a door and calling it rejection when it was protection. And subscribe, my beloved, so you stay under this covering of prayer and timely words, because I am consistent in my care, and I will keep speaking as you keep walking. Now go, my child, go without panic, go without apology for your obedience, go without dragging yesterday behind you like a chain, go with peace in your chest and fire in your bones. Go with wisdom at your feet and favor in your hand. Go, and do not look back for permission. The door is opening because I opened it, and you are stepping through because I appointed it. You are blessed in the walkthrough. You are guided in the walkthrough. You are protected in the walkthrough. And you are right on time with me.